Okay, I'm live. Let's see. Uh Entire screen. There you go. What? Oh, okay. Hey, there we go. Let me figure out how to share this now. Okay, that's perfect. Oh my god, I can see me. Okay, that's perfect. Oh my god, I can see me. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Oh my god, I can see me. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Oh my god, I can see. Okay. Oh no. You can't see my tabs. Let's go to the other one. Okay. I'm gonna figure this out, make this better. Hey guys, nice to see everyone, or at least I guess it's nice that you can see me. Hold on. Let me paste this and tell everyone that I am live now. Oh. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Okay, everyone. So today's subject that we're going to talk about on the show. Well, first of all, welcome. I am Elder Zimriah X Luke Satanus. You can just call me Zimriah, really. I am the host of Gnostic Revival, and today we're going to be talking about bodily autonomy uh, and religious freedom post COVID. And there was actually another subject that started popping up and that I wanted to go over like so bad, just because like it's something that's really near and dear to my heart, but I'm actually afraid I'm going to get emotional right now if I talk about it. Just because like, I'm like too close to it, you know what I mean? So I to better analyze it and to better get a feeling for you know what God wants me to say, because it's not really all about what I want. For the most part, part of this is you know um part of this is like something that I want, of course, but yeah, like I'll go a little into it because it kind of goes into this subject, but it's really tangential, if I'm frank about it. And I think I should be able to. I wish there was a way that I can hide this so it doesn't like pop up, so I can see like anybody chit chatting. But anyway, I'm like figuring this out as I go, guys. So like, forgive me if I like do something random and weird. But anyway, kind of as a refresher for anybody who was living under a rock during COVID, um, there was like horrible encroachments on our civil liberties. And especially when it comes to religion and communing, um of course, forcing us to wear masks and everything like that. Like that was just, I hated those days. Like that was so dumb. Even in Texas, it was bad. Like, I remember when during the time me and my husband were living in Dallas, and they were, putting police tape, warning tape all over the fucking jungle gyms, dude. The fucking jungle gyms. And it just made no sense because like there was like a lot of research coming out, showing like, hey, when it does, it shows that, like fresh light, fresh air and light and everything, like will, mostly kill the virus, if I remember correctly. And it was just amazing that they were trying to force us inside. It was weird. It was a really weird time, but I'm so glad that we all like stood up. All of us that did stand up, I'm so glad we did. You know, at the park that I'm talking about, that me and my husband noticed, we actually we actually stood on the corner of the street. And we held up a sign and we were yelling about like, yelling in the communism, into communism. It was awesome, really, to be honest. Like it was nice to see that people rose up whenever it really mattered. And so now, kind of going forward, we're at this time where, Trump is back in office, and like things are like really changing, and things of that nature. And there's some things that people still questions still have, like, um even though we all voted him in, some people are still afraid of the whole COVID thing because of the whole vaccination thing. That, he was the vaccination president, right? He was, he was the father. Well, I don't want to say he's the father of the Project Warp Speed, but he sure put his name on it. So anyway, we're at this point, and so we're all kind of reviewing some things, and there's still some things that are still happening, like towards vaccination and stuff, and we're gonna go into that. And like that's what started this whole thing. It was this right here, and I was shocked because I was like, I thought we're over. Also, this is a really easy subject. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is a really easy subject to do. I wanted to do the other subject too, uh, but I was like, that's one, and like, like I said, I'm afraid I'll get emotional, and two, it's kind of a hard subject to touch. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna pace myself and like start with the first things first, and let's talk about bodily autonomy. And so during that time, there was a lot of encroachment of religious freedoms. And so here's kind of a review of like what happened. Like, and you have to remember, this is like 2020, 2021. When was this specifically? Yeah, this is like April 2020. And during this time, the internet doesn't hate the Hebrews as much as they do now. Like, I don't I don't want to get shit about that. But yeah, there wasn't that many anti-Semitic rants at the time. And so anyway, like, the Hebrew people in New York were trying to have, the Orthodox Jews were trying to have, funerals and things of that nature, as, one does during a pandemic, right? And so anyway, let's just kind of watch this first.
Unacceptable, and he said it was the largest such gathering of any type since social distancing rules took effect. Few regrets today for Mayor Bill de Blasio after this controversial tweet singling out, quote, the Jewish community, end quote, for a funeral in Williamsburg for a prominent rabbi that drew thousands of Satmar Jews.
I spoke last night out of passion. I could not believe my eyes, Marcia. It was deeply, deeply distressing.
The mayor's choice of words drew criticism, with his former spokesperson
he's right,
saying his
but
tweet
he's
singled
an
out the
asshole.
Jewish community for persecution, and the head of the Anti-Defamation League saying generalizing against Jews in large is outrageous. The mayor says he got word of the funeral for Rabbi Chaim Mertz and had a security detail drive him to Williamsburg to witness it himself.
Members of the Jewish community were putting each other in danger. They were putting our police officers in danger.
Commissioner Shea talking even tougher.
It better not happen again. It can't. It is, again, we can talk about this till the cows come home. It doesn't get any crystal clearer than this for me. You are putting my cops' lives at risk, and it's unacceptable.
On the streets where the funeral took place,
everything is already
because
over.
they have to be on the streets.
We not take the right now of the people on the hospitals that they
sick.
should get the right care and not treat them like worse than any animals in the world.
no one eager to discuss what happened. But prominent Satmar leader Moses Weiser says he consulted with the NYPD to make sure everybody in attendance was safe.
NYPD put everything in place.
Oh,
We went
we just wanna
everything
make
through
sure you're
NYPD.
safe.
They were great. They're very helpful.
We just want to make sure you're safe. God, the bullshit, the bullshit. This is why Trump is back in office. God, I just like the audacity. We've come a long way, and they're still pulling their shit. That's why I'm on this. But it wasn't even the Jews either. It wasn't even just the Jews. There was, bad things going on for the Christians too. For us Christians. Some of you might be Gnostics, of course. So you might not exclusively connect your ideas to Christianity. So I got you. Well, let's listen to this because this was going on for the Christians as well. Pretty much anybody that tried to rise up against this in some form or fashion. He's not wearing a mask. And that's why they're doing that to her. Isn't that fucking, that's what they did in Galveston too.
Of not wearing a mask outdoors? This Ohio woman tased and handcuffed at her son's football game.
To be
Good
honest,
news, he's playing football. Bad news, mommy's getting tased.
I don't trust this Ingram.
As left-wing anarchists set fires, they smashed windows, they harassed diners across the country, largely with zero repercussions. Hey, we had a police officer shot last week or the week before in California. It's all a blur. Oh, we don't even have him in custody. But law-abiding Americans are being arrested for violating COVID dictates by petty dictators. And yesterday, police in the town of Moscow, Idaho, arrested 3 people, including my next guest, after they were cited for being maskless while singing psalms in a church parking lot.
In chariots and others trust in horses, but we recall the Lord our God.
You guys should not be doing this and doing this kind of crap for the mayor. This is embarrassing. You guys are stronger than this.
Is that Moscow, Idaho?
I have for that kind of shit. That's just up there with fucking Chinese goddamn communism, man. I can't, I'm sorry. Whenever I curse and I use the Lord's name or I use the name of God, whenever I curse in these type of situations, I'm definitely not using it in vain. It's not for vanity. I'm really pissed off. And I really hope God curses those people. I really do. And I know that's some people take issue with that. Whatever. I get it. But these people knew what they were doing. Reap what you sow, buddy. Really. And the messed up thing about it is that people actually started doing real research on this subject. Can you believe that? It's really a point of contention that we have to prove that, having religious community is not going to be a fucking super spreader event. What the hell? I swear to God, you would have seen that in history. I'm sorry, but you would have seen that in history. I don't think we have clear evidence of anything like that ever happening. And like, so much to the point, so much, I'm like, let this highlight my point. Like I said, they did real research on this shit, okay? Like, I'm not exaggerating. In 2023, in April, they did a whole study on this, and they were looking at the facts of, is religious community a supercell or a super spreader cell? And of course, it's a fucking no. But we're gonna go through the study. Let's see. The abstract says so. Like, here's the skinny of it. The abstract says, did countries that became more repressive of religion during the COVID-19 pandemic experience more COVID-19 cases and associated fatalities than countries that did not restrict religious freedom? As the pandemic raged across the world, many houses of worship defied governmental orders, thank God, against public worship, leading many pundits, policymakers, and critics of religion to express concern that churches, mosques, and synagogues and other houses of worship would become incubators of COVID-19. And like, you know what? I'm pretty sure this is probably not going to make it on YouTube. Like, YouTube is already fucking with me, y'all. YouTube is already fucking. I'm sorry, I got to pause, and this is a tangent, but YouTube is already fucking with me. I don't know if y'all saw, but I put up my first episode, and these people literally said, "Oh, you're fucking violating copyright by copying fucking PBS." It's weird. Okay, this is another weird thing. I might have to do a video on this, because in the email that I got about it, it said that, in the email that I got about it, it said that I was copying, something from PBS, whatever. But then when you go to the public link, on my X account, as if you're like watching the video, it shows that I am taking a clip from some random video, from some random creator. And I looked up that creator, and I couldn't find any videos that related to anything that I talked about. In fact, I don't think it even had to do with spirituality and religion. I think it was like something to do with finance or something. I don't know. But that's like, that's another tangent that I don't want to go on. Well, I just did, but I don't want to go any further, because like, it's just, I can go on forever about it. But anyway, policymakers, blah, blah, blah. And as view, religious freedom was seen as an obstacle in combating the virus. In this article, we evaluate this proposition. We find that countries that maintain their levels of religious freedom throughout the pandemic were not more likely to witness higher rates, than COVID-19 cases. Isn't that beautiful and just, these people just fucking lie, dude. Like, it's incredible. Man, it's just so fucking upsetting, dude. Like, you just try to live a life. And like, you try to fucking be a good person. And like, and some of us have like really fucked up childhoods, and some of us like go through some like really horrible shit. And then you got the government to fuck with you, because like, then you got problems for like all the like random things that you went through in your life, and like, maybe like some weird epigenetics, and like, God only knows, like, with the food dyes and crap like that. And so, you got all that going on. And then and then this fake pandemic, and then they just keep fucking with you. Like, it's no wonder that everybody just went to Trump. Everybody just was like, you know what? Because at the very beginning, people were saying that people voted for Trump because it was just like a huge fuck you to the government. And I completely agree. In fact, I think it was some of the biggest liberals that were saying this at the time. Some of the documentarians or something. I can't even remember. I know Tim Pool talks about it quite a bit, actually. Or he did. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he hasn't mentioned it in a while, but he has plenty of times. But anyway, yeah, so Trump was just a huge fuck you after all of this. Because even though you could say oh, Trump is Papa vaccine or whatever, he didn't do the lockdowns, and in fact he was trying to alleviate the length of lockdowns and stuff like that through Project Warp Speed. Was it a good call? I don't think so. I don't really think the vaccine did much. I think actually, and I could, probably, and this is just a speculation. It's this is not science, but I mean, maybe we'll find out one day that the vaccine did more damage than it actually did good. And I really think that we will find out when they. But anyway, I'm trying to do 10 minutes per clip thing, but I keep going on tangents. But anyway, so basically, you probably want to go on this, yourself. Here's the link to that, and maybe I'll put the link at the bottom, in the comment section or whatever. And that'll be on Rumble. Most of this stuff is gonna be focused around Rumble and X. I am so fucking tired of YouTube. I'm sorry. I told you I'm not gonna continue that, and I am about to start again. Okay. Anyway, I was reading through it, and I found it really interesting. They even break it down the Americas, the difference of what was going on, and it's just they're completely incredulous. They're completely fucking liars. These people are evil. And to take this back to a fucking Gnostic place, because I haven't done that yet, which come on, Brad, get with it. It's because I'm all discombobulated. It's a fucking miracle that this is even working out. I am not tech savvy, and I was running around like a fucking chicken with my head cut off trying to figure this out. But hey, I'm doing it. Here I am. I'm talking to y'all. I might have a fucking potty mouth, but I'm doing it. This is not family friendly. At least not right now. I'm sorry. But it's just amazing. These people are fucking liars. I think that all the contempt of the American people should be on this, on these people. It just if you hate them, nothing would be held against you, because you're nothing is to be blamed. But there was really nothing groundbreaking about this study. Okay, I'm really not gonna harp on it it's oh, it's so mind-blowing, but it's everything we talked about. Gathering doesn't make people sick when it comes to COVID, because COVID is not what people think. And again, YouTube probably hates me for that, but fuck them. And so, and I gotta go a little tangent too on and yeah, I gotta go on tangent, because the whole thing about this is about bodily autonomy, and being able to say, no, I don't want to take a vaccine, no, I don't want to put on a mask, no, I don't want to like, have to like stand 6 feet apart with, away from my family and stuff like that. And like hug my grandma through a piece of plastic. Like, what the fuck? There should be a choice in these things every time. Your human soul should be taken in consideration, because that matters more than anything. Because your sovereignty is directly related to the fact that you are a fractal of the one source, of the one true God, of the light that will emanate on forever and ever and ever without end, even after your own consciousness that you call Bradley, Sarah, Bob, Tim, whoever, like, will live on. Like, this part of you is what is honored through these choices. And this is the same thing that's like talked about in the Constitution, when like, God gives you life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's the same thing. It's just wrapped up in, maybe more intricate and more legalistic way of laying it out, but it's still so very mystical. Like, I have to say, the Constitution is not just a legal document, but it's a high mystical document. And like, that's not just because of its, Christian undertones, but just like anybody else knows, and like these occult currents, like these mofos were they were Masons, they were Freemasons, right? And even so much to the point that I've heard this so many times, and I cannot tell you where exactly I heard this, but I repeat it a lot, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't know. I don't know. I just find it really intriguing. But anyway, the fact that George Washington was recognized as like the last pharaoh, and I don't think that's true. I think, and people are gonna hate me for this, especially in the occult circles, because like, that's another thing. These occult circles, man, are so just full of it, fucking full of it. They talk so much shit about Republicans and like how Christians, like think in lockstep, and like how they're just so ignorant to the reality of blah 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 blah. Like, I am so fucking over that bullshit. I am so over it. And it's not that it's not even that it's exactly wrong. Okay? It's not even exactly wrong. But there's some things that you're saying, like when people say these things, like they're not even fully comprehending, because it as a blanket statement, it just makes no fucking sense that someone who believes in a higher power and believes that this higher power, saves your soul in a grand scheme of things, and that's ignorant, and like that's unenlightened, and you're just like poo-poo monkey shit for fucking believing that. Like, that's so elitist. Okay, just and it's so funny, because like they say, these type of people always say all the time, like, oh, Christians are so elitist, thinking that everybody is going to go to hell if they don't believe in this. It's like, okay, you know what, like, not all fucking Christians believe like that. Okay, there's some Christians that have like this like extreme, I would even say extreme, like liberal view of apostases. And like, I've even talked about it in regards to my own faith and Christian Gnosticism. I actually believe, and I even profess, that apostases actually came from, I really think came from Valentinianism, or evolved from, Valentinian thinking, or at least like, Gnostic thinking. And like, that would be, of course that would make like, that idea heretical, but like there's like like Gnostic books that are so Christian. It's like, it's fucking laughable that it even didn't even make it into the canon. Okay. And like, like the Gospel of Thomas. Okay. Like, it's not even, it doesn't even say anything like mind blowing, to be honest. Like, it's incredible because like even in the Bible, Jesus says like the kingdom is in you, the light is in you, I am in you, I am the light, blah blah blah. Like to say that like Gnosticism and Christianity are like so divorced, and like Gnosticism is this like evil heretical sect is just like is so fucking lazy, and it's so like, you know what? I want to say it's like lockstep brainwash bullshit, just like, the fucking, the woke liberal retards. Dude, like, I mean, I want to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to fucking say it. Any Christian who doesn't really study the Bible and doesn't try to get into the deeper history of like what went on, even if you like maintain the orthodoxical beliefs that you have, after you've done some real studying, like if you don't do that, like, I'm sorry, you're just like, you're fucking lazy to a degree. Like, I know not everybody can go into a point like you're like a fucking theologian, but like, come on, just like at least read your Bible in a good contextual way, because like just like blanket believing people what they say and and how they express the Bible is just like, you're fucking missing out on the truth. Like, I don't know any better way to say it. It, it is what it is, like, I have like a very orthodox belief, and I had to come to terms with it at one point. It's just, it is like, there's a higher wisdom, there's a metaphor. But anyway, as we go on, and this is, like, I'm talking about this because as we go on and we do these things, as we make these changes and stuff like that, weighing the scales of morality and our principles and trying to weigh out the truth of things, is that's going to be the business of things, is understanding the new ones. And here we have, like I said, everybody chose Trump because he's the guy that's going to like clean things up a little bit, or at least like make some major changes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like everybody believes that like, Trump is the next iteration of Jesus Christ or something, you know what I mean? But like, we're expecting him to clean things up a little. And so like we're coming to a point to where like, people are like, oh, it's like Trump like doing more COVID era stuff because like, he's like going into churches and like and over in Maryland, they blocked Trump from being able to go into, churches and enforce ICE. And a lot of people are finding that controversial, even, more the more libertarian types, and of course the left, who hate Trump, like, of course, hate it. But they hate everything he does. So it's, that doesn't weigh on me. And so we have this article here that like goes into that. And this is like, it's not, it's just, I don't know how any better way to say it, but like, these things just don't equate. Trump is not doing these things to, disrupt the religion or disrupt the group or anything like that. That's not the idea of it. And you know, you sure you can argue that COVID wasn't that either. But the point of this is that there's a huge mandate from the American people. And we want the streets to be cleaned up. We want immigration to be, you know, curtailed, to, you know, get a, you know, a handle on the situation, because it's not good. You know, and people are definitely not liking the idea of replacing our, you know, population with more and more immigration instead of like trying to promote like people having babies. So like, you know, this is just like a huge problem, you know, across the board, you know, immigration. And so Trump coming in and enforcing ICE and stuff is not the same as like saying like you cannot, you know, congregate and, you know, perform your rituals and stuff like this because, you know, like something bad's going to happen to everyone, you know, like a virus or something. Like that's not the situation in this. Like they're, like I said, they're not disrupting the religion. They're not disrupting the ritual of it all. It's not stopping it. It's just going in and like making sure that people are following the law and that people aren't harboring fugitives and like, oh, you know, like I can hear like, oh, you know what, like in slavery, whenever, you know, like preachers were hiding freed slaves or slaves that were running away. No, 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 no. I hate these arguments. They're so fucking stupid and vapid. These people are not running away from torture. They're running away from, okay, first of all, a lot of these people that are running away from their country as these like immigrants and stuff like that are trying to run away from problems that they can't run away from because the problem is fucking them. You know, like we all have to look in the mirror at one point. Like all of us. It doesn't matter where the hell you come from. But at one point you gotta like look in the mirror and say, like, oh shit, the problem is me. You know? It just happens to be like a lot of these people that are coming over and like, you know, taking advantage of our resources and, you know, bullshit like that. There are a shitload of people that like don't understand that the problem is them. And, you know, and it's just highlighted by the fact that you have like Trinidad and, you know, things like that happening in like in fucking Texas, no less, too. In Dallas, like not too long after I left Dallas in August of 2024, like there was an apartment complex that was like not even 15 minutes from my own apartment complex that was taken over by Trinidad. So, you know, this is something on a whole different level, a whole nother level. Okay. I forgot where that's from. That's probably for something like super lefty and like people are gonna hate me for it, but whatever. But anyway, this is just like on a different level. Like it's not the same. It's a false equivocation. You can't say like Trump going in trying to force immigration law is the same as like people saying, oh, you know, shutting church down because of COVID. And then like, you know, they fucking change again. Let's see. Two groups of churches in Georgia are suing the federal government for revoking a policy that protected places of worship from immigration. Yeah, see, so like they banned Trump's immigration enforcement, right? And that was like in, when was that? That was in February, like this year, February, of course. And Where are we now in here? What is this? March 5th. This is like a couple of days ago. They just took the ban off, which is good. Like, this is a good thing. Like, this is like things we need to see and hear, because we have to have these changes. These things have to happen. They're like, America needs a come to Jesus moment. And I think, like, literally for me, I think it's quite literally, but like, people can have their qualms about it. Even ones that have legal status, the ones who are legal residents. Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, so let's come on. Where are we? Even with the change of authority, still need a signed judicial warrant to make an arrest. However, the now reversed policy largely deterred because, like, Trump changed the laws from Biden's blah, 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 enforcement of immigration. 3 of 4 people who attended the church were Latino, and so they're like, "Oh, he picked the church because it was Latino." Well, yeah, duh. If these fucking immigrants are coming from South America, aren't you going to, like, focus on the places where Latin Americans are congregating at in America? Like, I mean, like, I'm sorry, reason and sense is like fucking hard for you. Jesus. Like, it's really so anyway, that brings us to, and like, like, I'm so happy, like, Trump, got his way in that matter, because, like, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, people may hate it, but that's, like, we do have laws, and just like we want our civil liberties protected, we also too have to ensure that laws that are meant to protect, our fellow person, our neighbor, and everything like that, even ourselves, are followed and enforced, in a fair manner. Like, none of these things are completely perfect unless people have, like, a good moral principled understanding of these things. And that's one of the issues of the shit I hate so much. Like, not everybody has a level of understanding like us. Not everybody understands like us. It's really wild, and it's like literally like half the country. It's like literally half the country. Of course, like, we got majority, so it's like, it's not exactly half, but it's like, it's almost damn near half, and it's weird. But I got a theory on that, and it was like, it's connected to some of the things that we talk about in the mystical order of the Nazarene, but I don't want to even hint at it. What it's about, besides, like, why half the population happens to have this, like, this hard, ignorant lack of understanding of the world. But anyway, so, like, what's got me all pissed off talking about this shit and rethinking about COVID and everything is the fact that in New York, they're trying to enforce Amish parents to vaccinate their school age children. And that's just fucking wrong, dude. Like, leave the Amish alone. And, like, this is really fucking serious, okay? Like, we're not even having a pandemic or anything. And, like, okay, you can argue with me on it, but it's not, they haven't called it a pandemic, at least not to my knowledge. And, well, what I'm talking about is, like, fucking the measles outbreak, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna look that up actually right now. Where is it? Google. Measles outbreak. So we have, like, measles going out in, like, Texas, New Mexico. So yeah, like, that's I was telling my husband about this, and, like, I actually mentioned Texas, and I didn't say New Mexico. I said Arizona to him. I need to mention that and, like, fix that. But and it's such bullshit because like everyone's like giving RFK Jr. so much shit about it, and it's like I understand, like, but a lot of us were saying that. I mean, even RFK Jr. himself said whenever he was at the hearings that he was going to be balanced about this, that he was going to, take the standards of like, hard science and stuff like that. And like, not like the believe the science type of science, but like, like actual like scientific methodology, like that has this proven to work more than it hurts, things of that nature. But it seems like they're afraid that the Amish community is, going to have a similar outbreak, and they're forcing them to vaccinate their children, and we have to ensure that like this doesn't continue. And like I haven't even like fully read all this. Like I'm not gonna lie. This particular article when I was going through it, I just like I had to stop. Like this stuff just like really pisses me off to no end. The court found the analogy that to the Wisconsin versus Yoder case incongruous, noting that New York's vaccine rule would not forcibly remove Amish children from their community at the expense of Amish faith and Amish way of life. Huh? Like it doesn't make any sense because like the whole point is that the Amish doesn't accept that this medicine. The fact of pulling them out and doing that to them and vaccinating them would be a disruption to their life. And and I know like some of these Amish people have this thing like called Rumspringa, and they go out when they're like 18 years old and like live as if they weren't Amish and everything, and kind of get a life of like an English as they would call it, and understand the world a little bit better, and like kind of understand its evils and its cravings and desires more. And like like some kids don't come back and it's not really good because they get into like drugs, like like any other kid. Like some kids like get into drugs and like then parents have to help rehabilitate, blah 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 blah. Anyway, yeah, it made like that literally made no sense to the fact that like to forcibly remove Amish children from their community like would not forcibly. Yeah, it's bullshit. Like just like the fact of giving them the vaccine is like is a disruption. Maybe you're not pulling them out. Maybe you're coming to go give them the vaccine inside the house. Whatever the case may be. But that like these people just don't get that. And so it's just good that people have this awareness now, because like I'm pretty sure things like this used to go on a lot more, and it used to be a lot worse and a lot more egregious. In fact, like things that we know about probably didn't really happen the way like they wrote it down in history. Like some of these vaccination campaigns, like I totally don't believe like they went all happy nappy as some of the some of them depict it. So yeah, we're like coming up on the end, like because like I just want to do this for an hour, and so we're coming here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can, please like smash the like button, share this with your friends, share this on X, share this on all your social medias, whatever. That'd be really appreciative. It helps the algorithm. It helps get the word out, and of course, if you love freedom, if you love Gnosticism, if you have a love for Mary Magdalene and Jesus, then please like get the word out there about me, because like let's what I'm about, and like my whole thing is to spread this stuff and get people curious about it. It's one way or another. Anyway, now I want to go into like kind of like where the revolution is going, like, you know, this like new health revolution, because, you know, we do have this awareness, which, you know, like I said, like people need to have more eyes on this. Just saying, like, you know, before I move on, like, please, everyone, keep your eyes on this. Like this does not need to happen. But this woman here is like so irritating, talking about like the type of foods that like, oh, my kids aren't going to be able to eat because like, oh, all the unhealthy foods they love is like so expensive. Woman, you gave your child that craving. You gave them that food. They know it exists because you put it in their mouth. Like, okay, let's watch this video.
All the other countries that wonder and say that Americans are just fat and lazy and they don't do anything to better themselves. This is what $115 gets you. Let me show you. We were able to get some Ritz crackers, one thing of cereal, some ramen, more ramen,
dude,
tuna, bag of potatoes, a few avocados, some snacks, desserts, 2 bags of chips, ice creams, pizza rolls, some sausage biscuits, one thing of Dr. Pepper. All of this for
and it's not that I'm fucking okay. Hold on.
We're not making it. This is going to feed my kids for less than a week. And this doesn't include any dinners. There are no dinners here. This is lunch and snacks. I don't know how people are making it. It's hard out there.
Because
all the other countries that
okay, hold on.
Say that
I don't know how people are making it. Oh, it's so hard out here. Okay, like, okay, I know that the inflation is still going on, and I know that like things are still expensive. Okay, I get that. Like, hey, I'm not saying like it's gotten any cheaper for me to make, you know, dinner or anything like that. But my God, like some of those things are expensive. I'm sorry, but you're fucking lying to yourself if you don't think they are. Like Takis, Funyuns, and Ritz, like how hungry you get after, and like over nourishing yourself, like it's just, and then all the dyes and like it's horrible. This is poison. You're fucking poisoning your kids, and then you're crying about how expensive it is to fucking poison your kids. You're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. I'm sorry, but people like this are crazy. You can go to the store, buy chicken breast, fucking chop that shit up, get some frozen veggies. They're like $1. Better yet, get some fresh veggies. Oh, what? You had to go to the store like what, every 2 days? And that annoys you? Oh my God. I'm sorry, but there's a concept in like nutrition and health science that's coming out that's called NEAT. NEAT, non-exercise activity time. And this is like super important. And like this is like, you know, like you're like where the idea of steps really comes from. It's not the how many steps you're getting in that is, you know, helping your health. Exactly. It's the amount of time you do it. It's the amount of time that you do it. Yeah, you're yeah. Just like, you know, if you're like walking an hour, it's better than like, I don't know, like I can't come up with an analogy, but anyway. So anyway, there's this idea non-exercise activity time, and so like, and it goes beyond that. Like this is like wiping your tables, cleaning your toilet, sweeping your house. I don't know, like fixing up your. I can't think of like things because I don't have furniture, but like a couch, you know, like you clean your couch and like, you know, oh yeah, you dust your bookshelf. I got a bookshelf. There you go. So things like that, like go towards like burning calories. And it makes sense because like you think of like our ancestors, like they to like feed a family of 5, you'd have to make like a fucking loaf of bread, and that would take you like hours and hours of like kneading the bread and then like checking in, like walking around the house doing other chores, and like because you didn't have the technologies to do these things. But now we're in an era where people anyway, like those tangential, like not only people are fucking lazy, like but they're eating trash like this and they're wondering why their grocery bill is expensive. Like, oh my god, you're fucking crazy, because like you can go out and buy a bag of squash for pennies, for fucking pennies. You can buy squash for pennies. I know a lot of y'all already know this. I know a lot of y'all already fucking know this. Like, it's so incredible. These people are just lying to themselves. I mean, but like again, and I'm not saying like it wasn't even Elon said like it would take like a whole year to even get inflation to stop. Like the fucking Democrats did some real damage, and it's not just Democrats, man. It's not just Democrats. Like we gotta take this back to like George Bush, senior, and then George Bush Jr. All these fucking lying motherfuckers. Since like what, Woodrow Wilson, you know what I mean? Since the creation of the Federal Reserve and the income tax in 1913. And so now we're at this point, and like RFK Jr. is doing an amazing job making everybody aware of these things, like to the point to where, like West Virginia is passing a fucking bill to get food dyes and things of that nature out of the food system in West Virginia. Now I'm like kind of worried about it. And like, Tim Pool said this, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. And like, that's where I got this idea. But kind of worried about it because it's like, what the hell are we going to eat? Because like, you go out to West Virginia, like, like it's like any other grocery store. It's like full of that shit. But, like he made a point about like how local food creation would like bolster and grow in like a phenomenal rate. And I totally agree. Like this goes back to the point of like what we're doing in our communities and like how we're working together, because like I said, like this, like even though you have a sovereign soul, like, and this is something I said on my ex, even though you have a sovereign soul, because of our fractal nature as God, since God like dispersed himself and we're a part of that light and we're a piece of God, since we are that, not only are we sovereign, but we have a responsibility and a duty to our brothers and sisters and our neighbors and our family and whatnot. And that's as Gnostics, this is like a super important idea, because like especially like this is one thing. Okay, it's already 7:00 and I gotta get off. I gotta wrap this up. But let's leave it on this note. Don't let these motherfuckers lie to you, okay? These assholes will tell you like, oh, Gnostics like, hate the material world and like think it's so evil and shit like that. Like, yeah, okay, we like as Gnostics, we understand that the material world was created by something that was imperfect in its own right and shit like that. But it's not that the material world itself is fucking evil. Sure, it has all these desires and traps and things like that, but that's the beauty of it all. That's beautiful. It shouldn't be scary to a Gnostic. You shouldn't and like especially as a modern Gnostic, like you shouldn't like I would be pressed to believe that you're fucking living an ascetic life in the fucking city. Go to hell. But yes, like as modern Gnostics, we can't let them lie to us saying like, oh, Gnostics believe that the world is evil and shit like that. Like, no, we believe that the world is imperfect because it was made by an imperfect person. And we believe that, and just like Christianity believes, this is not just a Gnostic belief, okay? Like, because this idea is in Revelation as well. When, you know, when they talk about the new earth and new heaven and like how they become one thing, this is also a Gnostic idea. Make no mistake about it. Like, it's actually like the book of Revelation is like super Gnostic, okay? So like that's another one of those books that I go like, okay, come on, can we like please like stop acting like, you know, Gnostics and Christians are really all that different? But anyway, that's all I got for you. I am gonna keep running into tangents if I don't stop. But don't let these motherfuckers lie to you. Don't fall for their lies. And remember, do all things in fucking love, because like that's the only thing that's real. Flat out. Bye, y'all.